5. We're live. We're live.
Hello, good morning, and good afternoon, and good evening, Penny Pleasers fans. I'm Adam, aka WX Fan 21. I am joined today by a new member here in the booth, as Sean is enjoying a little break here. He enjoyed the fine sights of Coda today. Got to see Christopher Bell's second win of the Young NASCAR Cup season. So I am joined by Nicholas. Nicholas, what's going on? Welcome to the Penny Pleasers Cup.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here. And yeah, Sean deciding to take a break. How dare he? Doesn't he know he has things going on? But no, it's great to be here. Huge shout out to Sean for bringing me aboard to be able to cover for him tonight. And hopefully I can live up to what y'all have been getting for when Sean is actually here. But no, it's going to be a great time here at Chicagoland. I'm excited to get started. As we have a great race on for tonight, a quick overview of the track and what it's looking like for us. Decent weather, good, track length, and I'm excited.
Yeah, your typical cookie cutter oval track here. Gonna be pretty fun. Your normal about mile-and-a-half track here. Stuff to keep in mind, folks, is this is the second to last race of the regular season. Now, what does that mean for all of you? Let me break it down by going over currently who's on the playoff bubble. Mike Chapman is currently in 10th with 348 points. Riley Skog with 339 points, and he's in 11th. Jackson Brown, 311 points, right at that 12 mark, that cut line. It's Jonah Espy with 292 points. Samuel Litchfield, 272. Those are your bubble players here in the Penny Pleasers Cup. Brian Reyes, 451 points, is in no danger whatsoever. Jonathan Reyes, his brother, right behind him at 429. Who has been struggling here recently, if you've been tuning in. Pritchard, I'd argue right now the odds-on favorite to win the whole thing. 414 points. Got a dominant win last week. Has just been outstanding. But you know what? We have more time to talk about that, Nicholas, because we are green and we are underway. And it's Christian Zarte leading us off here to the front.
Yeah, looking good, starting off strong in the front, dipping down into that bottom side, and I mean, already we're seeing 3 wide going through the first corners, already hitting the wall.
Oh, that's going to bring out a caution.
And we'll get a look at exactly what happened here already, and it just looks like they were coming around. You can see they're fighting for position.
77 blocked Ashton Pritchard there. Pritchard to the bottom.
Yeah.
People not happy with Pritchard after last week. I'm just going to say that now. Pritchard outright dominated that race. And Nicholas, if I could just ask for a little help here. Can I get in Discord, or I'm viewing this race, the who's in what spots?
Yes, that's what I'm actually working on right now.
Perfect. In the meantime, while Nicholas goes and does the production thing, make sure you give him a shout out. All right, let's make sure you give him a shout out here on the Stam Studio Network. We greatly appreciate Nicholas being brought on board and stepping up to do this here on what's possibly short notice. Again, Sean enjoying a nice day off. He got to enjoy Coda today, which was I'm sure I didn't get a chance to see it, but Coda always seems like a good time. But just to recap where we are at, this is the second last race of the regular season. All right, second last race of the regular season. We go to Daytona next week, the final race of the regular season. And then your playoffs look like this. The round of 12, we go to Watkins Glen, 45 laps on March 16th. Martinsville, we get to go to the Paperclip 200 laps at Martinsville. Then we head to the round of 8. And by the way, that Martinsville race, Nicholas, has a cool $50 to the winner.
Hey, you gotta love getting $50.
Gotta love getting a little bit of extra cash. Daytona next week, 25 to the winner. And we are heading towards the end of the season, the round of 8, Kansas, and then North Wilkesboro. And then the championship 4 will be battling it out for the inaugural Penny Pleasers Cup Championship at where the Cup Series should be finishing on. Nicholas, we get to go to Homestead.
Hey, I mean, that sounds like a good time to me.
Laps. That's right. Homestead, racers that can hug that top line, can make that top line come in, will have the advantage. But more on that later. You see that there are 14 drivers here. We have Pritchard and Farmer. Looked like they were involved in that wreck. They're hanging out in the pits. Christian Zarte, who's been coming on strong as of late. They are going to be making a play here for first and second. So, Nicholas, as someone, have you watched any Penny Pleasers Cup this season? I know you were just recently brought on.
I haven't watched any of the Penny Racers, but I have done some other work in iRacing as a commentator, so I am semi-familiar with racing, but not too much with the ins and outs of the Penny Pleasers Cup per se.
Nice. So, just letting you know that some of the strongest drivers in the field that we have right now, Angel Delgado, Christopher Rosca, Ryan Kilbashian, and Ashton Pritchard. Definitely some of the stronger drivers. I'd say underrated drivers would be Zarte, Pienta, and Chapman. Of course, with Skog and Jackson Brown. So a lot of good names here to watch. John's up in 5th as well. Let's see if he can get up there. There's Zarte out in the 53, going to be making a play here, sticking firmly out in front. Last week, Angel Delgado had an absolute rocket ship. The man could not be stopped. He was lapping cars all by himself last week at Darlington. This week in Chicagoland, let's see if they can bring that same package this week. Jeremy Pienta here in the 77 car drops to the bottom. Ashton Pritchard right behind Zarte now.
77 actually got a little loose there on the entrance of that last turn and almost lost the car. You could see them fishtail a little bit. And can we appreciate the paint scheme of that 77 America Online? Like, just beautiful.
Anyone else remember getting the America on the AOL discs?
So you get the AOL discs, you have the dial-up in the background. I mean, most kids nowadays don't even understand what that even sounds like. It's a bygone era that I'm so glad is still being represented.
I mean, I just turned 36 on the 21st a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, I remember the disc coming in. I remember when operating systems were on CDs. I'm old, folks, but it's okay.
I think we're all a little bit like that right now. But so far, I mean, a good race being run by them. Just that first incident so far having a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, Angel Delgado out to the front. What a surprise. We're told by race control he seems like he's the favorite. And you can see that there were 2 glaring names missing, folks, and that is none other than the Reyes brothers. They were Brian Reyes at least was at COTA today. Jonathan Reyes most likely there with him. So fantastic there as well. Delgado doesn't look like he has the insane rocket ship that he had last week, but he's definitely here hanging out in front. Pienta is going to be one to watch here because Pienta actually is doing pretty well, maintaining that second place lead. So, Nicholas, let's just talk about Chicagoland here real quick. What do the fans need to know about Chicagoland? Is this high tire wear, low tire wear, medium tire wear? Do you need to feed the cameramen to get ahead? I'm kidding. What is the rate? What
always feed the cameramen
to know about Chicagoland?
Yeah, it's so Chicagoland is one of these races that sorry, hold on, I'm fixing something on the back end
You're
here.
good. Trenton Jones, by the way, just went from 4th or 5th up to 1st. He flew. He might be one that has a little bit of that long run speed. Gonna be something to watch. Chapman as well from behind. Delgado back to 4th, and Christian Zarte, who started out on the pole, down to 7th.
Yeah, big shift up here in the race right now is Trenton Johns, who started in 10th position, is up in 1st in that Chevrolet, doing an amazing job taking that high line. And one of the most fascinating things I've found out about these cars, because I don't follow NASCAR all that closely, I'm more of the sports car style, but when the next gen cars came out and you started to see the pushes, if you get a good push with like 2, 3, 4 cars in it, that can increase the speed of the entire line by upwards of 10 miles an hour. So having somebody to work with, especially this early on in the race, isn't such a bad thing for these racers, so that you can start to build that lead a little bit and work together. And then as the race goes on, you're going to get more and more cutthroat, because you do want to win the race for those points and for winning the race. But finding somebody to work with to really push that car to the front is super, super important in these opening stages of this race.
Mm-hmm. Good call there. All right. Let's take a look at our new leader. That's Pienta. Where did Trenton Johns go? Did he?
Trenton Johns dropped to 7th position. A really good run up by the number 77 in that America Online car. A nice clean race from them so far. No big issues, as the pack is starting to get split apart a little bit. And it looks like Farmer has gotten back out of the pits, but they are down 7 laps, so they have a long way to go this evening to have a chance at getting in.
Ashton Pritchard, unfortunately, has struggled the last several weeks here. Pritchard still in firm position. I am completely missing. Yeah, Pritchard's in 3rd place. He's gonna win. Delgado's got 3 wins. He won last week. Both on the Lumit Motorsports team. Pienta as well on Lumit Motorsports. So it's Lumit Motorsports 3, 4, and 5 in total points this season. So definitely something to keep in mind. So Pritchard, even though he struggled, had plenty of good showings at the beginning of the season, Nicholas, and not in danger in any way, shape, or form of dropping out of the playoffs. But again, for those drivers on the bubble, and I'll mention this several times throughout the course of the race, Chapman's in 10th, Skog is 11th, Brown 12th, SB 13th, and Litchfield 14th. Your drivers on the bubble. Speaking of Chapman, he's out to 1st.
Camaro looking really nice, I have to say, but taking that high line and actually losing to Delgado on the low line, going through that turn. A beautiful overtake there by Delgado to take over Chapman, and now going to get a little bit of a push there from Chapman, who's hanging onto his bumper and getting pulled along at the same time. Great little work there. Ooh, the slightest of taps coming out from Chapman on that wall, not quite getting the lift off early enough to control their speed through that corner. And now as we come around, you can see there's a little bit of jostling for track position coming around the start finish there is you get a nice little look at the McQueen-esque car there. So if any of you are fans of the Pixar movie cars, it's a great shot right there of a McQueen on track.
That's Jonah Espy's car. We get another driver on the playoff bubble. Being told by Racing Code actually get some pretty interesting news here for you fans. Trenton Johns is joining Lumet Motorsports and leaving MCR next season, and Jackson Brown is going to be joining MCR in Season 2.
Ooh, very interesting. A little bit of spicy driver changes already coming up for us. And an interesting point, we are, obviously it's 100 laps. We have, it's 75% fuel for this evening. So one tank of fuel lasts you about 40 laps, so you're going to really have to stretch it a little bit and hope that when it comes down to it, you take a very tactical and thought-out pit stop when you're getting towards the end of the race. So something to keep an eye on there.
Pit stops, because there's only 75% at about 40 laps on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, now that the drivers have settled into this rhythm, it feels good. You know, no major crashes. Because of how small this field is, you're not getting these large clumps of cars that, like, if anybody was watching the Daytona 500 in just a few weekends ago, I mean, you're looking at them going 3 wide in some circumstances, but that's because it was like a 60 car field. Whenever you have something where it's only, you know, right now 14 cars, they're super spread out, and that means that we're not getting a lot of this super tight, compact racing that causes a lot of these incidences on the racetrack. So now it's going to be up to the drivers to just run a nice, clean race through, try not to tag any walls, and when you get close to another driver, you do have the leeway to give them a little bit of room on the sides to make sure that you don't overpower them. As we take a look, it's going to be right now Christopher Rosca, somebody that you had actually mentioned earlier as being one of the stronger drivers in the field tonight, has jumped up 14 positions to come up into first place as of right now. A great job for them and a good start for their night as we are entering into the 26th lap of this race. So far, everything's looking good across the board. There hasn't been anything really too indicative of any issues coming out from these racers still. As we're going to take a look here at the battle for first position, you can see there's quite a few cars up in here. And they're looking good throughout. We're going to take a look at the delta between the couple of cars and how fast these laps are. Doing really well as Delgado and Roscar are going back and forth on it. And so far you can see it's been Delgado who's eking it out above Roscar right now.
Yeah, Mr. All About Himself, Roscar. I'm just kidding. Wants us to let you all know that I apparently don't talk about Roscar enough. And this broadcast doesn't talk about Roscar enough. So Roscar, do better. No, I'm kidding. Roscar's a really good driver, but you're right, Nicholas. They have been back and forth, and Roscar's someone we actually haven't had a chance to talk much about the last couple of races because he's been struggling. And you know what we've seen here, too? Look at all the lead changes that we have had. We had Zarte, who went from first, started out in the pole. Excuse me, drops to 7th, now back to 4th. Kilbashian, who was way in the back of the field at 10th, now all the way up in 3rd. I said he's a strong driver in the field. Chapman, who started in the back of the fields, made his way up. Delgado's out in the lead. This is one of the most even playing fields that I can remember in the last really 2 months between these drivers.
And that's really good to hear. It means that, you know, the competition is rising to the occasion to match some of these better drivers on the track. And it's always good to see that no matter what position you might be in, because it just means that you're getting better overall as a racer, as a competitor. And for those that were at the top, now that they're being challenged, they're going to have to push themselves to be even better than they were before. As we're going to get an interesting shot from the blimp here, and you can see just how close a lot of these cars are. I mean, at least half of the cars that are on screen right now have led the race for at least one lap at some point tonight.
And Kildashian out in the lead, Zarte back to second. We are getting to that fuel window. So with 4 tire sets, I'm expecting every driver to come in and take fuel and tires on green flag runs here. Nicholas, what would you do if you're in these drivers' positions? Because as we come up to lap 32 again, you've got about 40 laps per tire, per tank of fuel. We had several laps. They conserved some fuel. So in the next 10 laps or so, we're going to be expecting some green flag pit stops. What would you be thinking here at this point? Are you going to go ahead and come in, get fuel and tires now? Try catching a caution late so you can be out there? Like, what are you thinking for strategy?
I'm a fan of the undercut, I'll be honest. If I know that maybe I don't quite have the pace, I'm going to be looking to undercut some of these leaders and hope for that caution and see if we can't make a play there. Or, you know, if the later on into the race they get, maybe I can stretch my tires a little bit more to speed up those pit stop times so that I'm not off the track as much as they are potentially if they decide to take tires. Like you said, the drivers do have 4 sets available to them tonight, so I would see about maybe this pit stop potentially actually taking a little bit early. Don't take tires. Keep my old tires. On my next pit stop, I'm going to go for fuel and tires and push for the end of the race and hope for a caution somewhere in there is probably what I would do if I had to make that decision.
Makes sense to me. All right, so we're 34 laps in, and it's time for us to send this to a little crank it up. Oh, we're going to have a caution. Come on out. Little bit of a wreck there. That's unfortunate. Well, that was the strategy you wanted if you pitted. But that's going to come out beforehand, and we need to see who was involved in that.
We'll see if we can't get a look at what caused that right now as... Oh, right in front there, so if we back it up and...
We'll back that up a bit to see what happened. So but take a look at this. Kildashian. Yep, Kildashian in that number 10 car out in front. Delgado just looks like he had the speed. We'll watch this in slow motion. Ooh. Delgado just catches Kildashian on the right rear quarter panel. Nothing Kildashian could have done. Delgado with just too much speed. Luckily, Rosca may only have minor damage. So everyone is coming in for fuel and tires. And look at Jonah SB. Has made his way up to 4th.
Made their way
and Nicholas, we have driver cams, yeah?
We have a few, if I can manage to pull them up for myself. Yeah, we do have a few.
idea if you're gonna get this, but that for that foot cam.
There you go.
I'm kidding. It was a joke, folks.
All right.
So
well,
what happened to Espy?
yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out right now. What happened? Because they have dropped back into 8th. That was the yellow flag.
A car might have issues.
Oh, they entered pit lane. They entered pit while we were looking at everything. It was a pit lane. So when they came out of pit, they're back into 8th position.
Okay. So just had a longer pit stop. So Zarte, congrats to his crew. Able to get back on the pole. Look at Angel Delgado. Still in the pits because of that caution.
That is really rough.
Mm-hmm.
They had a really good start for that race. They were in that lead position and then unfortunately just got dumped. Their back end got clipped. They got sent into that wall. And they are going to be down several laps, I think, before they get the opportunity to make it out of the pits.
True. So just a little update on Christian Zarte, driver for GRA. 202 points. Is really in a little bit of trouble here in terms of the playoffs. Only has 5 starts. But nevertheless, 202 points. A win here could get this guy to skyrocket in points and get all important closer to that cut line, because next week, Daytona, anything can happen.
Daytona is just one of those tracks that, like you said, anything can happen. It's super historical, and everybody is out to win that race. It doesn't matter what race it is, you're racing at Daytona, and because of that, you know, everything is on the line for Pride because of that. Look at Chapman with the lead that they've got a several car length lead over the rest of the pack there. Really well done to them to secure that for themselves at the restart.
Yep, Chapman out in front. There's Pienta. Gonna get passed by Johns, who's been pretty much eliminated from the playoffs. Johns has started 5 races as well. Only 142 points for him. That's a bit much to make up in the next 2, this race and next race. But still looking to build and gain momentum heading into the playoffs and next season. Delgado still in the pits. This is big for everyone else, because Delgado has been the car to beat the last several weeks, Nicholas. And now you've got other drivers, Chapman, Pienta, who I'd really like to see get a win. Rosca, who has just been so solid this season. Like, here's, just to give you a little bit of, to paint a picture. Pienta, 402 points. No wins, no poles. Rosca, 12 starts. Pienta, 12 starts. Rosca, 383 points. No wins, no poles. I'd really like to see them step it up just a little bit and maybe, just maybe, claim that first win here of the season.
Pienta did take first position with that low pass around Chapman.
It's AOL versus the Bumblebee.
Yeah, with McQueen right in the mix, right behind him, going almost 3 wide through that turn. 2 wide through here. We got a tap between the 27 and the 28. Rosca's going to be dropping back save. As well. Really good Rosca save plummeted. On that back end.
Rosca plummeted.
Almost halfway through the race. We've had a lot of lead changes through here. And, I mean, it is still anybody's race. It's, you know, we're not getting too many incidences, so you can't really rely on these cautions. You're just going to have to rely on your instinct as Espy here has pushed back up into third position. A pass here by Chapman getting pushed by that 95 around Pienta. Huge
This
run
might
up
just
there.
be pure skill. This might be pure skill and what you were able to do this week, the builds that you were able to accomplish, the race trim, practice, everything. What can you pull off? Hey, Race Control, if you're listening to me, can I get an update on Angel Delgado, please? Why is he still in the pit? He didn't look like he had a lot of damage. Rosca has now entered the pits as well, so if you could get me updates on Rosca and Delgado, that'd be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, this might be a good time here for me to introduce you, Nicholas, to our Ones to Watch segment, taking a lot of inspiration from the main NASCAR Cup Series coverage, our Crank It Ups, our Ones to Watch. So we're almost halfway through the race. Who's your one to watch? Not a driver that you think is going to win. We'll get into that in about 20 to 30 laps to go. But who's your one to watch here? A driver people should keep an eye on.
I'm really liking Trenton Johns right now. They're having a really good race. They've led for a little bit. They just have a solid performance tonight so far, and they are definitely one to keep an eye on tonight, as they are having just a really good night for themselves.
Yep, I think for me it's Mike Chapman. This is a driver who has been good off and on all season. Started in the back of the pack, and now they're in first place. They're gaining really good confidence here. So I have an update for you all before we get to a little mid-race interview here, Nicholas. Angel Delgado lost his right front wheel during that incident with Ryan Kilbashian. And Christopher Rosca, who we're going to invite up here into the booth, smacked the wall hard. Mr. Rosca, you're up in the booth here with Nicholas and myself. What's going on?
Frustration. That's
why you smacked the wall.
I saw Trenton get loose below me. I saw him come back up the track, and I took evasive action and hit the wall. And of course, there's no caution. Then I almost went head on into the wall. There really should have been a caution, but there wasn't. And I got so much repairs that I got to do now.
Well, hopefully we get you back out on the racetrack. You had a good car. You even led a couple laps there as well. Yeah,
I had a good car. That high side was really working for me. Passing on the high side was really helpful, but just that 28 car getting loose and coming up the track. I took evasive action. I thought he was going to hit me, so I went to avoid him hitting me and got in the wall.
Well, your teammate, Trenton Johns, has been looking really solid here.
Well, he's not a teammate anymore. He just got picked up by Lumet for next season, so...
We heard, but that's next season.
Yeah, there's a little bit of disagreements between the team and him, so...
Aha!
A little bit of frustration.
Not enough cookies and catering, I get it.
And he just took out his team owner, so... We'll see how it goes, but... Yeah. I've got through all the wrecks so far, then just got into this one, and just got to try and get back through.
Unfortunate. Well, Chris, we appreciate you stopping into the booth here with us. Get that race car fixed, and we look forward to seeing you finishing the race strong. Thank you so much for joining us here. Nicholas, any questions for Chris before we get him out of here?
No, just have a good race. Good luck out there. Unfortunate what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see. I feel confident for Daytona next week, so we'll see how that goes. I'm confident we're going to do well in the playoffs, so we'll see how deep our playoff run goes, and maybe we can end this season with the championship without winning a race.
Yeah. again, I kind of went over you and Chapman, looking to see a little bit more out of both of you there. Don't worry, Rosk, I talked a little bit more about you on this stream. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, I kid, but again, you and Chapman have been really impressive off and on this season. Again, no poles, no race wins, and are really high up there in points.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Zarte, my bad. Or whatever.
Oh, all
I've lost
three of
count
us,
at this
Chapman,
point.
Zarte, and myself, that were running well. See, Chapman.
All right, Chris, we appreciate it. Don't mean to kick you on here out of the booth, but we got a race to cover. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Nicholas, we focus back here in on the race here. Mike Chapman continues to outright dominate here after that first set of pit stops after that caution.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here as we take a look from his gearbox just how close Pienta is getting to him, but not quite able to find that moment that can maybe secure them that transfer into the first position. You can see they're taking the low line there, but having to transfer back up. Doing a good job of keeping with Chapman, but Chapman just seems to have a really good setup on his car this evening that allows him to just dominate in this top position. And then as
he is making that high line work.
As we look down right now, I mean, Pienta over in second position, Zarate in third, actually passing very easily into that second position almost. It seems like almost Pienta seems to be having a problem with their car with how just fast they just dropped in terms of positioning. Still fighting for that upper position. I think there's some cars in there that are back. Yeah, that number 53 of Zarate's in the mix. Looks like they're
could be
dropping
strategy
down
by
onto...
Yeah, so it could be strategy by Pienta as well. Zarte having to fly back up here could have burned up a lot of tires. Chapman may have been grinding too far. Now back in the third, almost fourth place. Did he burn up too much tire?
Absolutely could have, as with Chapman dropping back into that third position. It might just be a fuel saving technique as well. You're going to burn your... Ooh, hard hit into the wall, and that's going to go into the back of Pienta. That's going to be a caution out as Chapman tags the wall, isn't able to slow up the car in time, and takes out the back end of Pienta. We're going to take a quick look at this and just watch what's happening here. They're coming around the corner. You can see Chapman. Oh, it's Pienta that hits the wall, loses a lot of speed. And because of that, Chapman has too much, goes right into the back of Pienta, trying to do the evasive maneuvers down to the bottom side of the track. And there's just no controlling that car from there for Pienta. You're just a passenger at that point.
I'm really wondering what the heck happened to the drivers. 3 of them got into the wall.
It could just be that part of the track, potentially. Hard to say exactly what happened. Is we're going to have everybody diving into the pits at this point. 61 laps. You're going to take fuel, you're going to take tires, and you're going to sprint it to the finish. But
you're going to hope there's not a caution.
Yeah, and hope that there's not another caution. We're going to have to, take a look and see exactly like what these drivers decide to do, because there is just so many different variables that could change things. As you can see, Pienta's going to get fixed up there. Everybody's exiting the pits now. There goes the 72. But, I mean, overall, it's going to be an interesting shootout to the finish for sure here, Alex.
Oh, most certainly. You're good. Pienta is going to take a little bit longer in the pits due to the damage. Jackson Brown, Jonah Espy, and Kilbashian back in as well. So we do see someone, Logan, in a YouTube chat says 28 is their one to watch. And actually picking them to win. So we saw Farmer stay out for a little bit. We saw Ashton Pritchard stay out a bit. Delgado is going to take a wave around as well. 9 racers so far on the lead lap. Most likely it's going to be only 6 drivers that are going to remain on the lead lap here. Nicholas, something to keep in mind. With Pienta, unfortunately, taking that damage off of Chapman. I think this is going to be Chapman's race to lose.
I think so.
I think Pienta had the car to fight for it there towards the end of the race.
I think Zarate might have an opportunity, but again, it depends on Chapman 100%. If Chapman takes a hold of that lead and keeps doing what they're doing, absolutely it is their race to lose. But if for whatever reason they are unable to maybe continue the pace, maybe a caution comes out, something gets a spanner gets thrown in the mix, absolutely 100%. I think that the number 53 can eke out a win if they're able to put themselves in a position to do so. It just depends on what happens, when it happens, and what kind of position they're in to capitalize on it.
Now, let's see what these drivers can do. We are in the last part of the fuel window. We are 2/3 of the way done with this race.
We already have 64. Another massive wreck on the back end.
Oh. What happened? I think that was Rosca again.
We're going to take a look at the back end of this here. Just going to get a closer shot on this. So we're going to go 3 wide. Not seeing the issue as of yet.
I'm not either.
There it is.
There you go. Rosca into the back of Delgado. Delgado into the wall. Which then is going to push Rosca. And Delgado is pretty much done. Rosca couldn't maintain control. He gets into the right side of Jackson Brown. Rosca then fishtails into the wall. Rosca's day is probably done. Delgado's day is probably done. Unfortunate. We're not going to see any drivers pit now. They've all have fuel. They just got it. There's no need of pitting.
No need to pit at all.
Jackson Brown will again just lightly probably to fix up whatever little light damage he has.
But I mean, our eyes are on Chapman and Zarate there. The 7 and the 53. Those are going to be the 2 that are going to be duking it out for first position, and it's going to be up to Chapman. Really, we know that they have the setup in this car to take the lead. It's the matter of they just need to hold the lead when the push comes to shove, and Zarate's on their bumper.
Yep, and I'm being now told from race control that apparently Rosca didn't have a spotter, and he turned Delgado, and now both of their days are done.
Well, that solves that issue. With both of those drivers' days done, it is now... We're going to be keeping an eye on... Yeah, it's just going to be these front 2 cars. I mean, Kilbashian was going to be one of the ones we were looking at. Delgado, Rosca, both of them were ones that we thought had the potential to win this race. But with 2 of them out and with Kilbashian down 4 laps, there really isn't much more competition in this front row for Chapman.
Nope. I'm also going to be keeping an eye out on 2 drivers. One is obviously the 28 of Trenton Johns. But the 84 of Riley Skog continues to avoid wrecks and has found his way up to 3rd. For what it's worth, Skog, is on the playoff bubble. 339 points. He's in 11th. Mike Chapman, 348. Zarte, 17th at 202 points. Keep that in mind. And again, Trenton Johns with 142 points probably is out of playoff contention, but still having a phenomenal race here. Let's see what happens. And this is probably also best case scenario for the drivers on the lead lap, because this caution so early is going to allow them to conserve fuel. Every driver on the lead lap now is going to have enough fuel to finish the race.
That they will. So we're going to have to keep an eye on. Now it's just up to the skill of the drivers. You know, the setups that they built throughout the week to make sure that they are ready to go for these last few moments. As we are waiting for the green flag, and here it is. Zarate is going to take a good lead to start things off, but we know Chapman has the car. They're getting a nice push here right behind them from Skog, who is in that third position. It's going to be up to Christian Zarate to hold them off, and it doesn't look like it's going to be there for very long. Is already on the tail. Just a tenth of a second back is Chapman.
That's right. Chapman looks like he has the car to beat right now. But look at the blocking we're seeing from Zarate. Fantastic job. Chapman again. Oh, you can tell he has the speed. You can tell he's got that short run speed right now. And there he goes. He's made his move. And look at Trenton Johns behind him. Ready to leave Zarate in the dust. Johns making a move to the lead.
And
it's the battle 3 wide for the lead. Cut on out. Trenton Johns and Mike Chapman battle it out for the lead.
Huge run there for Johns. Chapman's going to take it back from the outside line, but this was one that I don't think either of us were expecting to come out from Johns, who has been holding back on us all night long with that kind of speed that he had. Has to be careful. He's a little loose entering this corner, able to recover it. But now, because of that looseness, he does give the timing back to Zarate, as they're going to have to duel it back for second, while Chapman's going to be running away with first here for a bit.
Yep, and there's Colin Grace in the 27, who quietly has found his way into the top 5. Bright as well in 6th. A lot of good drivers. 8 drivers on the lead lap, and I'm not counting out Bright, Brown, and SB either. We saw how many lead changes on that first set of 40 laps that all went green. How many lead changes we saw, but now it's darker, it's getting colder. What is that going to do to the cars? What's it going to do to the gripping? We've been racing for a while. New lines are going to be coming in. You said it earlier, Nicholas. Chapman was running that high line and making it work for him to stay out in front, and it looks like he's doing that here yet again.
Yeah, once again, he's kind of going for this high-low high, hitting the apexes of the turn, and just has a beautiful entry and exit from each turn, to the point where for Johnson Zarate, because they're battling it out for that position, they're not getting as clean of a line as Chapman is, so he's just able to open up this what seems like 4 to 5 car lead over the rest of the pack.
And look at Chapman.
Look at that gap between cars.
I think what Chapman is trying to do is just build as much of a lead as possible. Does he really have this fast of a car, or is he just really trying to burn through those tires?
I think it's a bit of both here.
Yeah, it's the fastest this car has looked all day. Look at this battle here as we take a quick look. The battle for second between Zarate and Johns. Johns out to second, but look at Skog coming in from behind. This was really good. Colin Grace now behind the 72 of Ashton Pritchard lapped car here. Lap car is not going to let them do anything. Looking really good. Skog is gaining on Johns too. Look at the speed differential. continues to get better almost every single round. But can he catch up to Johns? 25 laps to go here at Chicagoland.
25 laps to go, and it is a complete shootout right now. Chapman has a significant lead in first position. Johns has a decent lead in second over the rest of the pack, but they are gaining fast. Look at Zarate and their run to get back to the bumper of Johns, but Skog there as well. And with that wide line that Zarate took, that's going to mean Skog has an excellent line. Is going to take second there for just a second. As right back in second is Johns. And now everybody on that high line making a run around. This is ever so close in terms of the racing right now.
Yeah, cutting Skog off here. Well, we got 24 laps to go, Nicholas. Let's get into it. Who are you picking to win this race?
I mean, I think we've already discussed it at length that it's probably going to be Chapman. Just with how far ahead he is. He has the track. He has knowledge of the track. You can see that. He has a really good setup for this evening. Plus, he's just burning through his tires, and it's now a full second lead over that of Johns in second. I mean, just they have complete mastery. They've shown it all night long. They worked their way through the pack, avoided the wrecks, and have put themselves in a massive position to win this race.
I agree. I am picking Mike Chapman to win this race. But to get different, I'm going to go with Trenton Johns. Should we catch a caution, I do think that Trenton Johns could find his way to the front over Chapman and could win this race as well. So I'm officially picking Mike Chapman, but I'm just saying Trenton Johns could easily win this race here as well. I don't think Zarate has the speed left on these long runs to catch on up. But it's going to be really interesting. So both of us on Mike Chapman to win, with my dark horse being Trenton Johns. All right, 20-ish laps here to go at Chicagoland as they come around the bend, let alone Mike Chapman is outright dominating down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4, coming around towards that Geico restart zone. Unreal what we are seeing from Mike Chapman in this race. I'm so happy for him. 20 laps to go. A lot can happen. There's still a lot of race to go.
Yeah, and you can see that this battle for second position has only heated up the longer that we watch it. Just some great shots here from the cameras that are catching just how close the battle for second is. I mean, Chapman's running away with first, but this is where the true battle is for points right now between these drivers, as it's Johns, Zarate, Skog falling a little bit farther back, but getting some good runs up and really challenging and bringing up Bright and Grace as well into this heavy fight between these 5 cars.
Very true. All right. We're getting so close to the end of this race, so close to the playoffs. This win for Chapman would do wonders. It would all but guarantee him the playoffs. These points so incredibly crucial. Trenton Johns again finishing. If he finishes in second, he's got a potential outside chance of qualifying for the playoffs as well. We're going to see how this shapes out. Here comes Zarate onto the inside to try to take the lead over Trenton Johns. Again, this battle for second between Zarate and Johns has been going on for the last several laps. A little love tap from Johns as Zarate makes his way into second.
Yeah, so far this is some close action in this battle for second, and because this battle for second is so close, it's allowing Chapman to just get farther and farther and farther ahead as they are just laying a great line of rubber down the track. And now Bright here, a very quiet race from them up 7 positions. Skog up 10 positions themselves. Huge night for them, as Grace as well up 3 positions from 9th into 6th, having a very, very good race of their own. Jonah Espy up in 4th in that McQueen-powered car, really showing off a little bit of some artistic talent potentially, as well as some driving skill to be leading this race for a couple of laps.
That is true. So here we go, folks. Strap on in. 15 laps to go. We're still very much under green. Chapman, Zarate, Johns. Battle now for 4th place between Skog and Bright. That exiled Ford Mustang.
We're going to go 3 wide here into this turn, as it's going to be...
That's Delgado. Delgado, who's 33 laps down, back onto the track.
Really trying to get some laps out there, even though they're 33 laps down, just getting that practice in, fine-tuning this car, knowing what it feels like, so that when they go to Daytona, they have a little bit better understanding, potentially, to make sure that they're ready to go for it. You got to respect that, as at least in the battle for second, it is very much in the hands of Zarate, with Johns dropping back quite the distance, which means that for Chapman right now, they have a decently clean line for themselves right behind them. But it's getting closer. Zarate is working their way back up to Chapman, getting a little bit of a push there from Delgado. Take a look at a shot from the gearbox of Chapman right now. As you can see, Zarate down on that bottom side, getting a push from that 90 Delgado into the wall a little bit and tapping.
Zarate overtaking Chapman.
That I don't think we had in our cards. What a push from Delgado to get them into that position. And now it's going to be Chapman trying to hang on to the coattails here of Delgado to maybe squeak on up to be able to retake. But ooh, looked to be a little bit of a tap potentially between Delgado and Zarate. Nothing quite coming of it yet, as these racers are giving it all out on the track.
Like I said, was Chapman burning through his tires a little too quickly to get out to that second lead. But now you have Zarate and Chapman. Zarate in that dirty air with the 90 right in front. Got to give Delgado credit. He's unlapped himself once. Went from 33 laps down to 32.
10 laps to go. Now it's on Zarate to play good defense and be able to hold on to this position from Chapman. But Chapman still has the faster race car. As you can see, they're right on that bumper, getting that air from Zarate, giving a little bit of a push. But here's the move potentially on the inside. Not quite having enough of a line just yet, but you can tell they're hunting for it, knowing just how little time is left here on the track for themselves this evening.
Chapman may not have the tires left to try for the aggressive move. We will see, but he's had a couple of opportunities to get to the inside of Zarate. 8 laps to go here at Chicagoland. Yeah, 8 laps to go here at Chicagoland.
8 laps to go, and you can see it's just the pull from Delgado right now for Zarate that's keeping them edged in front of Chapman, along with some good defense. But with Delgado here, it does make Zarate's job just a little bit easier, because if they're able to get onto the back bumper like they are now, it means that they have a much easier time getting pulled along by Delgado. But unfortunately, it doesn't last long, because Delgado is still also a faster race car than Zarate, so does struggle a little bit in the straightaways to keep on them. As you can see, Chapman getting a good line through there, making up a little bit of time, but is it going to be enough? That's what we have to wait and see here, as there's only 6 more laps to go.
That is correct. Chapman is trying to catch up. Those tires not doing him any favors. Zarate conserved. He has the car to beat right now. Can he do it? Can he secure his first win of the season? This is looking pretty good. We are down to 5 laps to go. Zarate is gaining the lead. Delgado, get out of their way. Stop trying to block them, kind sir. You are a lapped car.
I don't think he's trying to block. I think he's actually pulling Zarate along. That's
definitely interesting. They are not teammates.
Interesting indeed, but that's what the feel is, because Zarate doesn't have the speed to overtake Delgado here. The car just doesn't have it within the power, it feels like. So they get close, they get pulled along, but in these longer straightaways, they're actually dropping back, and there it is finally. They get a good run, and they get let by, but...
Yep. Now, what can Zarate do in clean air?
I mean, with Delgado on the back of Chapman, Chapman could have a good, decent push if it's executed properly, with a potential overtake of Zarate for the win on potentially the last lap of this race. We don't have much time left. Only 2.5 laps to go here at Chicagoland, and it is ever so tight here.
Coming into turn 4, down the front straightaway, into the green-white checkered. 2 laps to go. This is best case scenario for both of these drivers. Of course, you want to win, but best case scenario for Zarate. Get a win. Get as many points as you can. Chapman with a second place finish is pretty much securing himself playoffs. But Chapman wants the win. There are the sparks. Here we go. White flag here at Chicagoland. Zarate has been nothing short of fantastic this entire race, battling for the lead. Our pole sitter as he goes down the backstretch, heading into the final 2 turns. Chapman is going to go fly. He's going to burn through every bit of tire that he has left. But it is not going to be enough. Zarate wins at Chicagoland.
And what a race from Zarate. Starting pole, then dropping back into the middle of the pack, working their way back up into position as everybody else starts to get across that finish line right now as well. What a race it was for everybody this evening. And I mean, Zarate, a masterclass in working your way up through the field after starting in pole, avoiding the crashes, and now they're going to do some skidding through the infield lawn. Can't quite call out a donut.
Have fun, Christian Zarate. His first win of the season, and couldn't have come at a better time. He still has a lot of work to do at Daytona next week. A win does not guarantee you the playoffs here in the Penny Pleasers Cup. It's all by points. So Christian Zarate locks in a ridiculous amount of points here at Chicagoland. And there is a little love from Jackson Brown as well. Your top 3, Christian Zarate, your winner. Mike Chapman in second. And how about Trenton Johns, 3rd place? Congratulations to all of our drivers. It is bright in 4th. Skog in 5th. Jonah Espy's going to finish in 6th place. Colin Grace in 8th. Jeremy Pienta in 9th. And Travis Farmer in 10th. Congratulations to all of our drivers. We're just going to wait here, Nicholas, for all of our drivers to load on in here before we do a little post-race interview with them. Nicholas, what did you think of that race overall?
I think it was an excellent race. I mean, we saw a little bit of everything, some great pushes, some great wheel-to-wheel racing, and honestly, just some great tactics with these pit stops and with the cautions that came out for all of these cars to not only make it to the finish, but make it such a competitive finish at the end as well. So it was always a pleasure to watch and just an amazing race overall.
That it really was. We saw so many lead changes here at Chicagoland, off and on, throughout the entire race. You know, that first set of 40 laps sticks out, Nicholas, but we just had so many drivers back and forth, and at the end of the day, Christian Zarate takes home the checkered flag. And speaking of our winner, let's get the podium drivers in here. We're going to start things off with Christian Zarate. Congratulations on your first win of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Oh my goodness, man, we really got screwed over. Every single race I raced here, I just felt like luck didn't go our way, but today, man, we fought hard. Saved tires 100% better than anyone else out there. That was just beautiful, man. Really proud of the boys at George Cole Racing Association. It's unreal stuff today, man. Beautiful race, and happy to do it at none other than my hometown track.
Oh, there you go. You love to see it. So, Nicholas, what you got here for Mr. Zarate?
Yeah, what are your plans? Next week you have another race coming up, or do you feel confident that you can repeat the accomplishment that you were able to pull off tonight, or what are your expectations for these upcoming weeks in the Penny Pleasers Cup?
Win. That's it. I came here to win, nothing else. Gotta win at Daytona. We just have to. We have to make playoffs here. I have no other goal. I came here late in the season. I probably missed more than half of the races here. Gotta win. Gotta win.
Yep.
That's all you gotta do, man. All you gotta do.
This was your 6th of 14 races, and you are on the precipice of the playoffs. So congratulations. And have we been pronouncing your last name right? Is it Zarate?
It's Zarate. It's Hispanic. You gotta Hispanic.
Zarate.
Roll the R. Roll the R.
There you go.
Roll it. Yeah, attaboy. You got it.
All right. Well, speaking of someone who's on the cusp of the playoffs, Mr. Mike Chapman, congratulations on 2nd. You had the fastest car on the track, but something I know Nicholas and I want to talk to you about after our congratulations. What happened towards the end?
Just using my tires up at the beginning of the race. Didn't really think I could get a big lead like I got, but I got one, and they were racing behind me, and just tried to get as far away from them, tried to run and hide, and it didn't work out. I just used everything up.
I know what we thought. It's like it's a combination of speed and using up those tires, and couldn't catch a caution long enough, but nevertheless, that pretty much locks you into the playoffs now, though, Chapman.
Yeah, I think Daniels told me last week if I started last week and this week, then it would lock me in the playoffs, and 2nd place definitely helped.
Absolutely. Nicholas, what do you got for Mr. Chapman?
I mean, excellent race tonight, 100%. You had a really good lead there. Obviously, the tires not quite working out in their favor. Of course, next week, Daytona. Same question. Obviously, you're looking to win. Are you going to change anything up in terms of your strategy late on in the race, or are you just looking to maybe continue the same and hope for a little bit better luck?
Daytona's a crapshoot, so mostly going to try to just hang out in the back most of the race and stay out of trouble, which being in the back can get you in trouble. But definitely the plan is to win. But try most of the race to stay out of trouble, and then you gotta be there at the end to win.
That's true. Very, very true. Well, Mike, congratulations on second. And congratulations on a fantastic race. We'll see you at Daytona. Let's welcome in Mr. 28, Mr. Trenton Johns. What a race from you. Congrats on third.
Thank you.
What did you and your team find here where you had success here at Chicagoland?
Well, we definitely could have raced a lot better, saved tires more early in the race. That kind of screwed us over there halfway through, but we ended up pulling through at the end, so go us.
Absolutely. Nicholas, over to you.
Yeah, coming in third tonight, an absolutely great race. You came up 7 positions, starting in 10th. How was it being in the middle of that pack through some of those crashes that could have very easily taken you out? I think on 1 or 2 of them, but managed to come through. I mean, you get through those, then you're fighting for second and third. Like, how does it feel being up through that after starting so far back in the pack?
Felt pretty good. We had a pretty fast race car. We had a couple close calls, though, with a couple of the accidents happening about midway through the race. But it felt pretty good being, up there in the top 3. It's definitely different than how it's been the last couple races I've attended.
For sure. Listen, go and celebrate. Third place, nothing to be ashamed of at all. You got to the podium. You get some good points as well. And, folks, thank you so much for tuning in and watching here at the Penny Pleasers Cup. Nicholas, final thoughts before I sign us off here.
No, thank you to Penny Pleasers Cup for having us. Thank you to Sean for giving me the opportunity to hop in his place. And I hope everybody had a good evening. It was a great race tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. And I can't wait to potentially do some more because this was so much fun.
Yeah, it was an absolute blast. We are so incredibly grateful to all of you viewers out there who watch this live, who watch this recorded. On behalf of the Stam Studio Network, for Nicholas, for Daniel in Race Control, for our top 3 drivers, Christian Zarate, we have none other than Trenton Johns in third, and of course, who had a kind of rocket ship today, none other than Mike Chapman in second. Trenton Johns in third as well. I'm Adam. We'll see you next week for our final race of the regular season. We head back to Daytona. Have a good week.